What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, bringing you incredible guests from all over the world, so sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest is a lawyer. She is now a life and business transformation strategist, also the creator of Monetize Your Brilliance framework and Limitless Abundance Breakthrough System. Please welcome Camille Walker. Camille, welcome to the show.
Hello, Deanna. It's so good to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So I love guests like yourself that have kind of followed that path where, living in that box of going to school, getting that title, becoming a lawyer, becoming, an accountant, whatever it may be, and then finds themselves, later on down the line, which was for you 20 years later, saying like, whoa, I have a different purpose. So I kind of want to hear a little bit about what led you up to changing course and now being a strategist for people and transforming their lives.
Sure. Well, it was gradual that I recognized as I was practicing law that part of what we do is strategy work and part of what we do is just solve legal problems. But I found myself helping people with life situations. They were always in transition, whether you have a business and now the business has a problem, or you have a problem with a family member. And so I began to realize I was helping people more in that space, as opposed to just giving them legal counsel. So I just began doing it in my legal work. And one day someone said to me, "You probably ought to get paid to do that."
Yeah.
Thank you. That's brilliant. That word just kept coming out. That's brilliant. What does that mean? And so with that, I realized my background is in business, right? So I've been exposed to a whole lot my whole life as a kid. My dad's, an entrepreneur. He's owned several businesses. There was always problems. We were always solving problems. And I'm picking all that up. So a lot of times clients were coming to me with their problems. I can not only see their legal solutions, I can see their business solutions.
Oh, wow. That's huge.
Yeah. But then I would want to, here's the real thing. I would want to follow them out of the office and go, "Hey, I can help you on the other side of this." But I couldn't do that because, again, I'm in the box, right? I'm legal counsel. My job is over. So I just began doing that anyway. And I did it with lawyers first.
Okay.
So lawyers would come to me, they'd have a problem. Maybe they weren't happy in their practice. Maybe they wanted to reinvent themselves. Maybe they were burnt out or they didn't have systems in place. Again, I just started slicing and dicing, as I call it, their problems, sorting out and helping them transition. And that led me to believe, well, this must have some value and let me explore it. So in exploring that, I realized I had some resistance around getting outside the box.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, what are you now? You're not being a total lawyer. And of course, people would ask me, "Are you still a lawyer? What are you doing now?"
Yeah.
And I didn't have a good label for it. I just knew what I was able to do.
Yeah. So when we're drawn to something that we know that there's something bigger than what we're currently doing, right? There's a calling. Like, did you have that feeling like, okay, I have something better and bigger that I have to do? And you shared with me before we started recording what kind of law you practice. Can you tell the audience like what you did as a lawyer?
Sure. I like to think of it as the 3 deadly Ds. Okay. I handled death-related issues. I handled people that were going through the disability system because of chronic illnesses. And I also handled debt restructuring for individuals and some companies.
So that's some pretty heavy stuff, kind of like it probably could be pretty like sad and for me, I would be like a little depressing to work with people that were going through some of those different stages in life. And, to like maybe find yourself like saying, "Hey, I really want to help and transform people and have like a more positive impact in not only my life, but in theirs as well." So, I could totally see where you would be like, there's just something more for me.
There was. And I had a dream about it too, because it wasn't just about helping other people.
Yeah.
So this dream was, at the time, I had a lot of things going on in my family life.
Okay.
And so I had this dream where I was on a treadmill. The treadmill was getting faster and I was smiling and doing it. The incline was going up, and finally over the treadmill I went. And I woke up and I was like, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And you know how you wait for that answer? It's a divine answer. And I could hear that you're going, you're helping other people, you're taking care of your kids, you're doing this, but at a certain point, you're going to fall off that treadmill
Yeah.
and you can't continue at that pace. So that was kind of the wake up call for me that I could do something to help people in a way that I didn't have to sacrifice myself so much. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, total sense. And so at what point did you say you were done being a, well, you're like you said, you're once a lawyer, always a lawyer, but when did you make that full transition into being this life and business transformation strategist?
So 2018, I made the decision. My daughter had gone to college, and I was thinking, okay, I can do what I want at this
Yeah.
point, and I'm going to go all in. And so I made the decision. I'm going to cross the line, and I thought it would be really easy, Deanna. Ah, you know, you know what? You started a law firm because, again, I mean, I had worked in my law firm with a partner, so I knew how to build it. We built it from scratch. We actually went through a recession. So, I mean, I knew how to do this and I knew it wouldn't be easy.
Right.
But guess what? There were some barriers here that it was keeping me stuck.
Sure.
And at first, I couldn't figure out what's going on here. And of course, I Googled it and couldn't figure it out. One day I ran across this guy because I talked to so many people that were like, oh, it's your messaging. Oh, it's your package. Oh, it's your social media. And I'm like, nah, it's a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
And I find that the mindset, I was getting in my own way
Sure.
and I couldn't see it. So I call those financial blind spots.
Financial blind spots. I like that. And so what was like the turning point to get past like that, those barriers for you?
The turning point was I couldn't help myself. I had to get help. So I read books. I went to workshops. I knew what I was dealing with, but
Sure.
I couldn't help myself over my own blind spots.
Yeah.
So I found this guy after digging around, and he was in the Netherlands of all things, and I worked with him. And he said, Camille, I know exactly what's going on with you. You've got some past experiences that are following you that are causing this resistance. You have a resistance to being seen and financially stepping up to the next level, and you have a fear of success.
Wow. That's huge.
It was huge and it was true. So, I always say now, my 10-year-old brain was actually troubling me.
Huh.
It
Wow.
started that early. And so sometimes the experiences we have as a child, especially before the age of 10, get imprinted
Oh,
and they get imprinted in our subconscious mind and we don't think about them. So that experience I had in fifth grade, I'll never forget it. Um, I had a situation where another girl bullied me,
yeah.
and it was around being seen as the good girl, being seen as the smart one, and being seen as the person that thinks she's all that.
Yeah.
So, so again, that sounds benign, like that happened so long ago, but that revelation came home, and I realized it wasn't safe to be seen for me.
Hmm.
And so events like that, and I had several more in my life that came out working with this guy. Some things that happened in my family the same way. It wasn't safe to be seen, wasn't safe to go to the next level. And if you do, people won't be happy with you.
Yeah.
And so those were driving, right? My conscious decision to step out, be seen, go on social media, tell people about financial blind spot. But there was another part of me that was like, nope, don't do that. So guess which side of you wins?
The one that says don't do it.
Every time, every time. So I had to reconcile, I call it reconciling my differences with beliefs, those barriers, those blind spots. And I did it. I took apart, she helped me pinpoint what was going on. And it helped me with a process to actually remove the triggers that were going on. It's like a trigger
Yeah.
because
Okay.
go out and it's like telling you don't do that. It's not safe.
Right.
We disarmed those triggers, and then I went free and I started authentically feeling like myself. Like I
Mm.
could step out, I could speak without, having a stomach ache. I'm serious. The thing was really real. The fear that was there around stepping into this spot that I sit with you today in. So I'm a product of my own work, which I call it's a trick, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Here I am helping people whose lives have fallen apart, right? Through some financial matter, or say there's a death with a family member or a company that goes under. Those are traumatic events.
Oh, yeah.
And I was able to help them freely thinking, well, I don't have that problem, right?
Hmm.
Until I stepped over into this space.
Yeah. You know, I think
That,
I think is interesting is that probably people are listening to this are thinking like, well, wait a second, she's a lawyer. She probably doesn't have those feelings inside, those conflicting feelings that would let her step out because she's got to step in front of a judge or a courtroom often. And so I think that's a way, again, people label us based upon our title and don't realize that we all, like yourself, deal with some kind of conflict on the inside that really that challenges us to step into that next phase of our life, which I consider at this point, talking to so many people, is stepping into their purpose. It is a challenge and a hurdle to get over those lies that we tell ourselves to get to step into that place where we're meant to be.
right. Especially if they're traumatic
Yeah.
experiences as well. I do want to add one of the mishaps I think that we bought into, or the real lie in society, is I practice law, but I'm more than a lawyer. And so if you identify yourself with just that box,
Yeah.
then you're very insecure. When the truth is, I had to step out of that box and ask myself, who am I?
Yeah. Oh.
And you sit with that. Like if you sit with that, you'll get really uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you've got to figure that out. And why am I here is, of course, the second question. So a lot of people that came in to see me were ready to monetize what they thought was their brilliance. But I'd ask that question: who are you? Let's take off the label, the title, where you live, what your bank account says. When I take all of that away from you, who are you really?
Yeah. That's a powerful question. And I'm sure a lot of people that you work with initially have a hard time answering that.
They do. They
Mm.
do. And I did too, because I had labeled myself. I mean, I was labeled, you're labeled from birth. Think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Mom gets to tell me my name, right?
Yeah.
Um, then a teacher gets to tell me I'm a good girl or a good student. We're told that we're in fifth grade, sixth grade. I mean, it's a label throughout our life. Where we're going to live is a label. What car we drive is a label.
Oh, yeah.
All of that. But when you take away, I call them stickies, actually.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's really great.
without the stickies. And so I didn't realize, I'm going to be very transparent now. The truth is, I did not realize how cool I really am.
Woo! I love that.
I had no clue because I'd never really connected with just me,
Yeah. Mm.
who I am, who I was born to be, the quirks, the everything about me. And so that's where the brilliance comes in. And you find your natural organic brilliance, but you have to get rid of these financial blind spots, and they're around yourself and money
Yeah.
and success.
Yeah. So you started in 2018, stepped away from practicing law and became this transformation strategist. You had to go through some coaching yourself because you were getting in your own way. You got through those hurdles, and now you're fully owning that title, not label, that title of a life and business transformation strategist. So what framework came in first, the monetize your brilliance or the limitless abundance breakthrough system?
Actually, monetize your brilliance came first
Okay.
because that's what I thought I was helping people do. And what I found is they were resisting stepping into their brilliance. So I was like, I get it. I mean, it's my story as well. I'm stepping into the space, but there's something holding me back. So that's why the limitless abundance breakthrough system now comes first.
Oh, okay. All right. So
I
can you
mean,
tell us about that? Like what? So do you still offer this to your clients today?
oh, definitely. So both really. With the limitless abundance breakthrough system, it really is about, there's three components. There's three R's, of course. First of all, you've got to release those fears and those limited beliefs. You've got to pinpoint them. You
Yeah.
can't just say, I know I have them. You really have to find out, where are they? And we do that by, I have a system of questions that I'm able to ask people. But if you tell me a little bit about what's going on in your business, I can tell you where we need to release.
Okay.
And the second part of the framework is called remove. So it's not just the past belief or the barrier or the experience. There's emotions attached to our experience,
Yeah.
good or bad, right? So it's the bad ones, right? The toxic,
Oh, yeah.
the toxic ones, the relationship toxic one, whether it be with a parent or a teacher or a significant other or a violation that's happened in your life. So we have to really remove that, what I call disarm the trigger,
Okay. I like
because
that.
that's the alarm that's going off. Not safe, Camille. You got bullied, right? The person hurt you.
Right.
You were traumatized. And of course, as a 9-year-old, you're traumatized when the mean girl, right, says to you, and I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to disarm the fear around being seen and tell my adult self, okay, this is not happening anymore.
Yeah.
So removing that. And then now, here's the powerful, powerful step. You got to renew your mind with a new identity.
I like that.
You got to renew with a new blueprint now, a new blueprint around who you are.
Yeah.
That's that, who am I? And then a new blueprint around what you will allow yourself to have.
Yeah.
So we all have a financial set point that's brain based. I didn't realize that. It's brain based. It's based on past history.
Yeah.
So say you've made, $50,000, but now you tell me you want to make $500,000.
Right.
There's a gap.
Oh, big time.
Brain is going, look, we're not doing that. Our blueprint is at 50.
Yeah.
So there's a process of, you have to rebuild your identity to support the $500,000. And it happens. We see it with lottery winners
Yeah.
about it. Their identity doesn't allow them to own as much wealth as they've been thrown, and they don't have the systems in place to do it. They don't think they're worthy of it, right?
Is that the there you go. Is that the common thing, that people don't think they're worth?
Yes. It's all that. And it was mine too. It's like, who am I
Yeah.
to be worthy to charge for this brilliance?
Yeah.
See, because again, law told me how much I could charge, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But now I have to decide. I get to make a decision. And so I have to rebuild my identity to own whatever that is. If that's 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, it's all a leveling up process. And so now I get to help entrepreneurs do that. And it's like, it's so rewarding to see people reach their potential that have limited themselves to this. And now we're in that. So anyway, I have a new identity as well. And I will say, I now own it.
Yeah.
And there's still fear. Like right before this interview, there's still butterflies. There's still, what are you thinking, Camille? You're a freaking introvert. You don't even like to speak on stage. Why are you doing this? But there's a calling.
Yeah.
It's bigger than that, Camille. So I have to pick her up later when we finish this, okay?
Well, thank you for sharing that and being so vulnerable. So who is I think we've talked a little bit about it, but let's just be very clear. Who is your ideal client? Someone who comes to you and that would benefit from working with you?
So my ideal client really are people who do have a brilliance about them. They're experienced entrepreneurs. They know what they're doing. They know they're good at what they do, but they've reached that plateau. in their income, or they're having, I call it feast or famine, the roller coaster effect. I reached it, but now look what happened. Or they reached that pinnacle and then all hell breaks loose,
Yeah.
and something causes them financially to have to go, oh my God. It's always an oh my God.
Right.
So those are ideal people who are looking to reach that next level of purpose in their life and their business, but also keep their life in harmony.
Yeah.
So many entrepreneurs will want to climb this ladder, but they do it with hard work and struggle and hustle and grind. And that's not the identity. So I can help them with that new identity and also elevate their financial blueprint around money, success, and their sense of deserving what they believe they deserve. We're not talking about worthiness now, because worthiness is we're all worthy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We're all worthy.
Whether we believe it or not, we are.
Exactly. We're all worthy, but we get to decide what we deserve.
Yeah. Ooh, I
And that's the person that's saying intentionally, I choose, right, this
yeah.
unapologetically.
Mm.
So those are the ideal clients for me that are ready to step into that 6, 7. The sky's really the limit, because at every level, new devil, right?
Yeah. That's good. I like that. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Do you have a success story without, I mean, obviously no names are necessary.
Yeah.
A success story you could share with us?
Oh, I do. Actually,
Besides yourself, of course.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, I have a client who just plasters herself all over the place talking about how radically her life was changed. When she came to me, she was already successful. I call it already successful. She was in a career, but had transitioned over into luxury photography.
Oh, wow.
And so it was like she loved what she was doing, but she had a diagnosis, a chronic diagnosis of cancer.
Oh,
And she was like, oh my God, it was one of those, oh my God, what am I going to do? I've got this business. I've already made, $300,000. I need to keep that going, but I have to have 4 surgeries. And so it's funny how she reached out to me and she said, I need you, because I am an aspect of this is spiritual work, right? This really is sacred spiritual work. She said, I need you to take me through this process, and how are we going to do it? And how are we going to save our business? So over that year, she had her surgeries. She continued to work with me. We helped her stay in harmony.
yeah.
And when I say we, I'm talking about divine, because I'm not doing this, Deanna. I'm going to be honest. I believe God has chosen me to help people in this way.
Yeah.
So I don't ever say Camille did it. Camille has a partnership that allowed her to do that. Long story short, she made 6 figures. She's in harmony. And actually, as of even last month, we're at 5 figures a month. She went, I know, she did like almost $90,000 last month, 1 month.
Amazing.
Because now we're in the manifesting part of it, which is now that you're clear about who you are and you're clear about what you deserve, the sky's the limit. She has a why that is outside the realm. She wants to help luxury photographers grow their businesses, grow their lives, and transform people's lives through photography.
I love it.
So because of that, she's on the trajectory of what I call the limitless abundance system.
I love it.
There is no limit. So she's one. I mean, I have others, but these stories, it just warms my heart to watch.
Goosebumps. I'm over here with goosebumps. That's beautiful. I love
But
it.
she's amazing. I've had others, Jess too, who was in sales 30 plus years, knew what she was doing, was working for a coaching organization, came to me and she said, I know there's some, the way she met me is I was a sponsor for her employer.
Okay.
And she found out the work that I was doing and she's like, I think I need you, which is how a lot of people come to me. And so she couldn't even really hold money in her hand.
Really?
There was some traumatic stuff that happened to her as a child and her mother growing up with a single parent. And those traumatic experiences were following her. And so, again, took her through the system, worked with her. And I mean, within 4 months, started meeting her quotas, started exceeding her quotas, actually left the employer. That's the only bad side to the employer. She left. But I mean, those are the kind of people that
Yeah.
I get to do this. And again, it's such a sacred work. I love every minute of seeing transformation.
Uh,
So I finally got my dream, which was legally, yeah, I can help you,
mhm.
but I can help you change your life and the trajectory of other people's lives.
Yeah.
That's what I was after.
Yes. Woo! With that being said, Camille, where can people find you, connect with you, and learn more if they want to work with you and you are calling you, what you do is calling to them?
They can find me on Instagram at Abundance Breakthrough. Of course, send me a message. But if you want to know, there are 10 like common, I call it big blind spots, financial blind spots. They can go to the website at CamilleWalker.com/money blind spots with an S on it. Download that list. And for your listeners, Deanna, if you want a breakthrough call, if you download that list, you can schedule a call with me, a free 30-minute call where I can talk to you about what's going on. And usually in that 30 minutes, identify where your blind spots are
Yeah.
and give you a plan for how to overcome them. So that's where you can reach me. And thank you so much for what you do and for having me on the show and allowing me to plant these seeds so that no one has to stay getting in their own way or stay stuck or not realize there is such a thing. Because this is not something that's commonplace or
Right.
people just know about it. So they spend a lot of time rounding the mountain, changing their message, changing their social media, getting in your website, when all the while it's between the ears.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's very true. You guys, I'm going to put her links in the show notes. So go ahead and connect with Camille on Instagram. Go to her website, download the money blind spots, and see where you are not seeing clearly what's going on in your life around money, or schedule your free 30-minute call with Camille. I'm sure she would love to talk to you and connect with you either way. Camille, this is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
Well, I would love to leave with you this, that go back to that question. Who am I and why am I here? That, my friend, if you answer that question, that will take you a long way. I mean, the wisdom of answering that question, age old, the earlier we can begin to do that, the
Yeah.
better off we are. But wherever you are, you will know that you are here for a bigger reason than just you. And so that's the wisdom I have. I had no idea all of this was within Camille
Yeah.
and that she's here to help others and also to transform my own life in the process. So that's the wisdom.
Beautiful. Thank you, Camille, so much for sharing your story and letting us know that it's possible to get to your purpose and remove those blocks. And you want to help people achieve their highest self around money and their brilliance. So we appreciate you.
Sure. Thank you, Deanna, so much.
You're welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.